Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. We are at the Presidential Palace where we have the honor of conducting an exclusive interview with the President of the Republic about the life of the nation. With the head of state, we will address the major current issues, particularly those relating to defense and security, to general mobilization, governance and justice, and our confederation, AES, and especially the relations between Niger and several countries on the African continent. Mr. President, good evening, and thank you for giving us your valuable time, and above all, thank you for giving us the opportunity to discuss the concerns of the people of Niger with you. But before we get to the topics I just mentioned, allow me, Mr. President, to say a word about your tour inside the country that you undertook in October and November, which has just ended. What are your observations, and more specifically and briefly, what feelings do you have? What is the current state of our country? What should we take away from the tour? Do you feel that you have accomplished your mission with regard to the objectives you set for yourself? And then what lessons have you learned from this tour in order to better address the concerns of the Nigerian people who welcomed you by the thousands in a historic show of support? This has truly never been seen before in the history of Niger, with such exceptional mobilization and enthusiasm. Mr. President, to return to the topics we announced, let's start with the primary concern of Nigerians, namely defense and security. Question, Mr. President, we have undoubtedly experienced a certain calm before the events that occurred at Niamey Airport on the night of January 28th to 29th, 2026. Is this an isolated act, or does it signal a certain resurgence of terrorism that will target our main strategic sites, including Niamey? Mr. President, what exactly happened and what lessons should we draw from it?
Greetings, families. Welcome back once again. I hope you are well. I hope your day is good. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. This news is continuation of our President General Abdourahman Tiani's almost 6 hours speech or interview. The final one. Really, congratulations. I can't believe it. It's a long ride, but we are there. And this part 3 is back with a lot of information. As usual, they are all packed. But what you just heard is an introduction. Many of you have heard it already, but in case you are new here, that's the introduction. And also, I've added a bit of where we ended the part 2 to refresh our mind, because it contains a lot of what we are about to hear later on. Detailed information about Benin president, personal connection with some of the terrorists, and also some money French military, some of the French military have stolen in Côte d'Ivoire, Benin. Yeah, I think Côte d'Ivoire or Benin, yes. They have stolen their money as well. It has a lot concerning China, Nigeria, the USA, now in Nigeria. Get yourself ready. Enjoy this ride once again. I'll be back.
I personally carried out numerous difficult missions throughout the Ivorian territory to maintain peace in Côte d'Ivoire, because we were all deeply committed to a very noble ideal. I have crossed many remote rivers that I am absolutely certain 80% of Ivorians themselves have never even crossed. These include the Enzi, the Komoy, and the Great Bandama River. We were spending time at the beautiful Lake Kosu, which is located not very far from the city of Yamoussoukro as well. I traveled. They are originally from Daukro. I went as far as Man. From Man, I went all the way to Djenne. I eventually came back through the town of Man to head up towards Danani. I crossed the border with a specific country that I won't name here, but they certainly know which one it was from that year. Right as you leave the area, there is a bridge. I crossed over it as a formal part of the mission. On the way back, I took the coastal road all through Pleu. In order to make my way back to the city of Daloa, because I had already passed through Daloa earlier, from Daloa I traveled onward to Vavois, and then I continued to Seguela. After that, I eventually came back. I went back to Daloa once more, and then right here to Mama, to visit President Gbagbo's family home. To head out again towards Tumodi, not even to Ayamoussoukro, since it was on the way there that I passed through Ayamoussoukro. I went to from Aukro all the way to the Banduku border at the border with Ghana. I personally made the long and arduous journey all the way from Aukro to the city of Abidjan, a place where some of those very people who are shouting so loudly today were completely unable to even set foot or show their faces during the entire time that we were stationed there. During the specific period of time when French military forces were involved in the widespread looting of Côte d'Ivoire, the French soldiers systematically targeted and plundered the various branches of the central bank. This occurred in the city of Korhogo, in the major hub of Bouaké, and across all the other significant urban centers throughout the country where large financial deposits and monetary reserves were known to be stored. They transported millions, tens of millions, even hundreds of millions of CFA francs. The only saving grace was that they couldn't go to France with the CFA francs since no one would exchange them for them. They were forced to spend that money locally in Côte d'Ivoire. It wasn't the Nigerians who looted, it was the French. Today, they're friends with whom they now cozy up. And I was the one who made that sacrifice because there was an ideal we believed in. The Nigerians secured Ouattara at the Hotel du Golfe. All the other forces refused. Niger had a special detachment stationed in Rivera, which protected all the authorities. We did this impartially. If it wasn't me, it was those who replaced me. Since it was a deployment, we stayed for 8 months. Unlike the usual practice where deployments lasted 6 months, it was the Nigerians who provided his security. And as for me, that's what I did. But I know what he is currently doing to harm Niger. I'm going to remind him of some dates. From August the 6th to the 7th and the 8th in the year 2024 at the Gulf Hotel. From August the 6th through the 7th and until the 8th in the year 2024, held at the Gulf Hotel. From the 8th to a town called Jacquesville, I believe, which is not far from Abidjan. Starting from the date of October 28th and continuing all the way through until November 27th in the current year. At the 43rd Bima, I'm giving dates. You should check what happened during these periods I'm mentioning. I included JIE in the year 2025, which is located in Korgo, the 4th administrative region of the area. But I decided to include everything, right up to today. Right here at the main camp, which was once the former base of the 3rd Battalion of Boki. He should check what happened and what is happening. Then in the town of Socorro, during that same time frame, which is a town located not far from Boki, he should check on what is happening there. I know what's happening. In Kong, at the border with Burkina, he should check what is happening. I know what's happening, and he knows what's happening. In the month of December, right at the very end of December 2025, there were multiple meetings that took place back then, and I have the specific dates for them. I have all the dates right here with me. He himself participated. We should let him answer truthfully and in good conscience for every single one of those specific dates. And what exactly was the underlying purpose behind each and every one of those numerous meetings? On the 16th, the 17th, the 18th, and the 19th of July, taking place at the Hôtel des Armées, which is located right in the heart of the Plateau district, in Abidjan, starting with a very special and significant meeting between 3 different countries, including the nation of France, the Republic of Côte d'Ivoire, and the country of Benin. On July 18th, apart from the others that took place on the 16th, 17th, or 19th, the one on July 18th, which brought together officials. I know who it is. He knows who it is. Let him come out and explain in detail to the Ivorians exactly what happened. We have something much better than that, and we certainly have more than that. We have the ultimate source of funding, but we are preserving it for the sake of historical record. There's no point in people thinking that it's the evidence that will make things move forward. These people to give up what they're doing. Who hasn't seen Mali? Since the time of Choguel Maïga, who was abandoned mid-flight at the United Nations, who had gone there with evidence, to Abdoulaye Maïga, the general, currently prime minister, who repeated several times, 3 times, asking to be allowed to present the evidence. Tell me, who has always opposed? Wasn't it France who used its veto right? It was France who used its veto right. But we know, and Nigerians need to understand, in addition to what we are saying with precision, date, time, place, geographic coordinates, actors, amount. As for the amount, I return to Patrice Talon. December 2024, he gave 90 million to Takubo Koe. 90 million, December 2024. I know why he gave the 90 million. But he should just ask Takubo Koe if the way he used the 90 million is what Patrice Talon had asked him to do. Takubo Koe handed over this sum during a meeting in Abuja from December 8th to 9th, 2024, for the purchase of 700 motorcycles, including 500 motorcycles for Guinim and 200 motorcycles for IGS. This took place from December 8th to 9th. The year 2024, and in the private workspace of an assistant that I am acquainted with and whom he knows as well. A meeting during which participants took part whom I know and whom he knows. But the purpose for which I am refreshing Patrice Talon's memory, for which he had given the 90 million, was actually part of a larger sum of 300 million. It was intended to be paid to the terrorists who are currently carrying out operations in the W and Penjari. Takubo Koe diverted that money because he used it as a contribution for the purchase of the 700 motorcycles. If you noticed, on December 31st, 2024, the contract that bound Patrice Talon to the terrorist ended. Thank you. That was the reason they were paying this money, and it came to an end. On the 8th of January, while even the Beninese chief of staff was away, traveling on an official mission in the country of Chad, there was an unexpectedly violent attack that took place that tragically left approximately 10 people dead in its wake. Then, just a few months later, in the month of April, specifically on April 17th, there was a major and devastating attack in which 76 innocent people were tragically killed. It's because the terrorists refused to renew the truce for which he had paid the first 90 million and where 210 million remained to make the 300 million. Because they said they have observed that Patrice Talon is not respecting his commitments and that they will not renew the truce. Amen? All you have to do is tell us why he made the trip. I won't say, because I'm ashamed of what's happening. That's the difference with us. We have taken our destiny into our own hands. We no longer rely on anyone else to take responsibility for us. People will say, oh, you have Russians with you. But who has actually seen these Russians operating on the ground? They have their informant on our territory. They just need to tell us. We have regained our freedom of action. That's the difference with Patrice Talon, who has lost his freedom of action. Today, the Benin army cannot be present in the north. Benign. And what can we be jealous of? We will never be jealous of a brother country. We will never be jealous of our brothers. But if it's jealousy, maybe it's the talent he has in his heart. And he thinks everyone is like him. He who thought he could suffocate us ended up with a coconut stuck in his throat. He'll just have to deal with it. He just needs to answer the questions I asked Alassane Ouattara, I have given some indications. I think I have been tested enough. That is certainly not what is currently lacking, but there is a significant amount of evidence we don't reveal in order to avoid exposing our sources. So that's what's going on between these countries. We do not harbor any specific feelings of hatred or resentment for the various actions we have taken for those countries, even if today they seem to be quite forgetful and have largely forgotten the many significant things we have done for them in the past. Allah is here and He is the judge, the wisest of judges. We would never, under any circumstances, wish for the Beninese, Ivorians, or Nigerians to be facing hardships or significant difficulties. Never. But we will never accept a policy that aims to collaborate through a state of servile and unquestioning submission in order to subjugate our people. We have made a firm choice. This is a path we have chosen for the freedom to act. This choice we have made is completely irreversible. That's what I can say regarding the relationships we have with those countries.
Thank you so much. Thank you, families, for listening to this interview as well. We haven't finished yet. I was like, so the president knew all this, the reiteration of him not paying the terrorists, and he was quiet. How many people? I remember, it's not even last year. It's like almost 2 years ago when the attack happened on the soldiers, the military barrack. And when our president asked, he should tell his citizens what his defense minister is doing in charge. Maybe he went because he knew what was going to happen. I don't know, but I hope that he will come out to answer all these questions that our president, General Abdourahman Tiani, is putting forward to him, challenging him to come out to tell, because you can tell he has more and more details. Now the question is China. The last year's interview that he did, he mentioned some Chinese diplomats were misbehaving in the country. Okay, now he wants to talk about it or update us, because the question was asked, what is going on? I'll be back.
Still on the subject of diplomatic relations, during our interview on May 31st, 2025, you mentioned the tense relations with Chinese companies exploiting Nigerian oil. After that interview, China appointed a new ambassador to Niger, whom you received in an audience on Thursday, January 15th. How have things developed since then? Is the crisis with China now behind us?
I don't know if it's a crisis. We don't think it's a crisis. We have our principles, and we are convinced that the Chinese authorities share these same principles. The relentless fight against systemic corruption in our institutions, the enduring struggle against domination in all its various social and political forms, and the critical fight against the growing tendency to disregard the fundamental rights and dignity of every single individual, the strategic interest of partners. We are aware of the relentless fight that the Chinese authorities are waging in their battle against corruption. We frequently witness instances of high-ranking officials or senior civil servants being subjected to disciplinary sanctions or legal penalties. We share, notwithstanding a margin of error of a few thousand years, a remarkably parallel historical trajectory with the People's Republic of China as it exists today. It's important to know that the People's Republic of China has gone through 24 dynasties. Before first becoming the Republic of China from 1912 to 1949, and then the People's Republic of China from 1949 to today, 2100 before Christ, the First Jia dynasty from 2100 to 1600 BC. I'll just mention 3 key points. Next, we look at the Shang dynasty, which lasted from 1570 to 1045 BCE. This era is known as the Age of Writing, marking the emergence of early Chinese characters. These symbols formed a foundational system that has evolved over thousands of years and remarkably remains in active use today, serving as a direct cultural link to the ancient past. Next, we have the dynasty, Spring and Autumn period. This is the illustrious and ancient dynasty of Confucius and Sun Tzu. Confucius, who was a profoundly influential philosopher and ideologist, and many spiritual traditions and religions draw their core essence directly from his deep ideology. Then Sun Tzu, who was a great military leader and from whom all Western military leaders draw inspiration. Drawing from the strategic wisdom found in Sun Tzu's ancient rules of military conduct, we can see how this influential spring and autumn period of Chinese history endured for many centuries, spanning from the year 722 BCE all the way down to 476. And finally, the Qin dynasty, which was the last before the Republic of China, so in 1912, and the People's Republic of China. China has experienced the hardships of domination just like Niger. So we know that these are values we share, the values of freeing ourselves, the values of never letting ourselves be subjugated again. We have managed to achieve this through a lot of effort, a lot of suffering, a lot of investment, and many sacrifices. And that is what we chose to do starting from July 26, 2023. We know that the Chinese authorities are aware of our determination to develop our country. We had found a common sharing framework, which is completely unfavorable to Niger. We had asked for things to be reviewed so as not to repeat the same mistakes as with Niger's uranium. This situation inevitably created some misunderstandings, but no form of peaceful coexistence can ever be entirely seamless or without friction. We are actively and diligently working to resolve these misunderstandings, and we are firmly convinced that we will eventually reach a mutually beneficial solution. Since, as you have correctly mentioned, I personally received the ambassador, and I have officially entrusted that ambassador with a very specific mission to do everything humanly possible so that we can finally find a definitive and lasting solution to these ongoing tensions that concern us all so deeply. On our side of the situation, we have already set up a formal committee that was recently and solemnly sworn in to handle this. And this committee is responsible for negotiations in all areas. We are fully prepared to engage in a collaborative partnership, but it must be a mutually beneficial win-win partnership, a partnership that strictly ensures that it does not overlook or disregard the sovereign interests of Niger. And I firmly believe that with a strong sense of mutual goodwill from both of our respective sides, we will be able to reach a resolution with great speed and efficiency. Reach solutions. Of course, no, not only favorable to Niger, but favorable to both Niger and the partners of CNPC or WAPO. That's what I can say so as not to dwell on this issue.
Mr. President, regarding the AES Confederation, the College of Heads of State held its second summit in...
Thank you so much, families, for listening to all that history and what is going on. Because when that statement or interview happened, people took the part that he talked about the diplomat of the Chinese misbehavior. I remember there was a part that one of them or one of their workers were kidnapped, and they wanted to help, the government wanted to help, but they went behind them and paid bribes to the terrorists. And even though our president, General Abdourahman Tiani, has selected some few special securities to protect them, they didn't tell them they were going to see the terrorists. They went behind their back. They just told the security personnel that they want fresh air, they want to go out. I know many of you have listened to that interview. And so when they went out, they have a car waiting for them, and they went to the terrorists, they paid them, they didn't come back to tell the authorities what happened when they went there. Before they would know, they vanished that person that they were kidnapped. They paid the ransom, they took the person to China without saying anything. They knew, but they were quiet. Our president, nothing passed without them knowing. They were quiet. And so when the diplomat reacted to something or did something, they get rid of him as well. And people were thinking, okay, you said French is not good or France is not good. Now the Chinese that you invited or you want, they are doing same thing. So I'm sure that those who have been talking, now they got the answer. So they will talk about the answers as well. Anyway, the next one is about the currency of the AES, whether the currency is coming up or not. A lot of questions or a lot of people are asking. It's about the USA military in Niger. Another question was about ECOWAS, Nigeria, and many families listen to all, and I'll be back. Thank you for your time.
On December 22nd and 23rd. Recently, we followed with interest the review of the Confederation's approximately 15 months. It has undeniably resulted in exceptional achievements, the operationalization of the unified force, the investment bank, and the media organizations. However, the people were expecting even stronger decisions that would definitively mark the break from the French neo-colonial system and truly begin the process of economic development for the Confederation. Mr. President, is the Confederation afraid to cross certain red lines, such as the currency, for example?
They have already asked this very same question, which clearly suggests a complete and total misunderstanding of the Confederation's absolute determination. The Confederation is not afraid of anyone or anything. If we have succeeded, what we have achieved so far, despite the challenges, it is because we are determined. And it is because the word fear, we do not know it. It is not part of our vocabulary. I remember the second meeting of the Confederation took place on the 23rd. Did you hear the word fear even once? The Confederation is not afraid of anyone and is not afraid of anything. The Confederation takes thoughtful actions after careful consideration. And every single significant decision that truly warrants being addressed, the Confederation will make it. I firmly believe we have successfully carried out a sufficient number of decisive actions for the word fear to no longer be a word that is ever spoken or utilized within the Confederation. I prefer to simply leave the matter there, because even responding to the word fear is demeaning to me.
Under the presidency of Mamakoa, we learned about the opening of negotiations with ECOWAS. Several months later, citizens still want to know where we stand with these negotiations with ECOWAS.
Negotiating with ECOWAS, I think that's being naive. But as for us, I believe we have proven that we are no longer naive. What kind of specific mechanism has ECOWAS not already utilized, acting directly under the strict orders of its primary mentor, Emmanuel Macron, in an attempt to keep us trapped within the narrow confines of that very same regional organization, which we freely chose to leave? If you remember, on January 28th, right? What did they say? They gave us a year to think it over. We were given 6 months until 2025 to reconsider. But what is there to reconsider? We have chosen our path and we have taken actions that prove it. The decision has already been made and the action has already been taken. We simply cannot remain within ECOWAS, despite the fact that we are original founding members of the organization, for a highly specific and significant reason. But ECOWAS's stalling tactics never end. And it is in this stalling that we find ourselves. ECOWAS will never want sincere negotiations because there are always some masterminds who make them believe that no, one of them will fall and the other two will rush to rejoin ECOWAS. But that is to misunderstand the people of the Confederation. Today, Assimi Goïta, Ibrahim Traoré, it's not Tiani. The Confederation is the people of Niger, Mali, and Burkina. Whether it's Assimi, Goïta, Ibrahim Traoré, or Tiani who disappear, even if all at once, this return is irreversible. There will be no going back. People need to understand this and engage in sincere negotiations so that if we are to continue cooperating with ECOWAS in the format of the Confederation of Sahel States, or perhaps a federation in the coming years, and ECOWAS so that we can continue to... We must work together and live alongside one another as citizens belonging to this shared West African region, but within separate organizations, because our fundamental interests are no longer being adequately protected by the Economic Community of West African States, known as ECOWAS. People need to understand this and avoid stalling or believing what others tell them, such as that we are going to fall, and that they say that after we fall, the people will bring our three countries back into the fold of ECOWAS. That will not happen, God willing, sir.
Mr. President, to close this chapter, last December, the United States of America carried out airstrikes in Nigeria on the grounds of fighting terrorism and protecting Christians. And a few hours later, journalists, particularly those with a French perspective, reported a terrorist attack against a Christian couple from Niger in the Dosso region. These separate events have worried some of our fellow citizens, some citizens of the AES bloc who are wondering if the same American airstrikes could not happen in their own countries, namely Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. Are these concerns justified at present?
First of all, in order to provide a comprehensive answer to the first part of your question, it is essential to clarify that we strictly do not interfere in the sovereign defense or national security decisions made by any individual country, nor do we intervene in the strategic choices made by a country in collaboration with its chosen international partners. As long as these decisions do not have in the background the intention to harm Niger. And if that truly happens to be the case, we will certainly find out the truth. And we will make sure to inform all the people of Niger. So, these complex relationships between them, military or defense relations of Nigeria with some other countries, are the responsibility of the Nigerian authorities. I have nothing to say about that. If I cannot help Nigeria safeguard and protect its citizens, I will say absolutely nothing. That could damage the diplomatic relations, which might perhaps help them manage and contain this difficult situation in which everyone is currently trapped. The populations of northern Nigeria, all the states of northern Nigeria. As for the reasons for the intervention or the strikes, we have heard that it is supposedly to protect Christians. On that point as well, we do not interfere. We know that we form a community with the Christians of Niger. We are not aware of such actions, despite the fact that these hired soldiers, who are specifically recruited from various Western global powers, are frequently given direct orders by their superiors to carry out massacres against innocent civilian populations. If we consider the implications of
Significant chance.
that particular journalist who said that does not deserve the honor of me saying his name here today, but I am certain of one thing. He was at one point in Mali. He left Mali because he can no longer lie with impunity. He went to settle in Senegal. And it is from Senegal that this whole web of lies. It is certainly not our intention to deny the fact that the nation of Niger has endured a vast multitude of incredibly difficult trials and tribulations. A significant number of brave Nigerian martyrs have unfortunately been officially recorded in our history. However, at the same time, we must also not choose to ignore the reality that this complex and challenging situation is by no means unique to the nation of Niger alone. For example, it is certainly not a dangerous or unapproachable country where violent terrorists are constantly running around every single corner and on every main road. Rather, it is a welcoming place that is far safer and more accessible than many people might initially imagine. All the roads, all the routes in the villages, in the countryside, in the rural areas, countryside. But these specific countries, which are widely considered to be exemplary global models of harmonious peace and serene tranquility, are places where no single compatriot, and when I use the word compatriot, I am referring specifically to a legal citizen of these nations, is ever killed. I'll just give you a small example. Back in the year 2020, within the country of France, there were approximately 5,000 recorded cases of homicides reported. 2020, 5,000 homicides in France. People claimed that it was COVID that drove people crazy, but we were exposed to COVID just like they were. Were there actually 5,000 deaths caused by homicide in the country of Niger? No, that is not correct. In the United States, which is where your specific question comes from, back in the year 2020, there were approximately 21,500 total deaths resulting from homicide. I strongly encourage you to go and look it up for yourself in the physical archives or the digital records of the newspaper known as the New York Times, specifically the edition from September 28, 2021. If you take the time to find that exact issue, you will see exactly what I said back then and understand my point completely. And since the initial establishment and formal creation of the official organization responsible for meticulously monitoring and recording homicide cases back in the year 1960, there has never been a single year with fewer than 15,000 deaths by homicide. Now, it is true that every single country in the world has its own unique set of problems. But please remember what I'm telling you right now. The Élysée Palace and the Quai d'Orsay had both sworn a solemn oath to bring about our ultimate downfall. They even went as far as setting up two specific organizational structures. The Command for Africa, for the military component, and the intelligence unit, I would say, of the Sahel from the Élysée. The unit, Sahel unit of the Élysée. This unit, the second one, as I said, has no other objective than to wage an information war. They carried out mass recruitments through two events. The first event was supposed to take place in 2025 in Benin. It's a cultural event. I don't know if it took place or not. It was during this event that they were supposed to recruit Africans. Thank you. Stateless, self-interested individuals who failed to comprehend what the noble struggle for liberation truly is, are now violently attacking their own country. Then in 2026, it's planned, I don't know if it will happen or not, the Francophonie in Kenya. They will also take advantage of this meeting to recruit stateless Africans. That was the second plan. Then, in September 2025, you saw the international call for tenders, but particularly aimed at African countries to recruit influencers. I mentioned it during the last interview. Their mission is nothing other than to create events, to amplify events within the Confederation, to disparage the cooperative relations between the Confederation and 5 countries. I mentioned them to you during the last interview. So we really need to have a very good memory, so that everything that happens in our lives does not destabilize us or distract us from our ultimate goal. That journalist made up a complex and deceptive web of lies. We are not saying that there are no deaths in Niger. That would be pure demagoguery, especially in the context we are in. But what he said in terms of conflict, the religious aspect is a complete lie, but it's not his own lie. It is the lie of modern information warfare. So Jean-Marie Bockel has now planned to fully equip the Quai d'Orsay with this specialized information strike force that will effectively set the pace for everyone. The countries of the Confederation, when he was responding to a French deputy who said, "But how is it that the AES states attack you and you don't respond?" I have a specialized program for an information strike force for the direct benefit of the Quai d'Orsay, and it will be specifically tasked with this mission. We know exactly what we know, and we know precisely what they are doing at this moment. We truly know what they are capable of doing, even to their own fellow compatriots in their country. Just to tell you, the various strategic interventions that we have carried out, specifically those instances where we publicly exposed the underlying facts, have unfortunately resulted in the loss of many lives up to this present date. In any case, what we have consistently continued to record in our logs is the presence of 12 French agents who are working for both internal and external security services. There were 12 of them identified on January 21st, and again on January 23rd, according to the official reports we have received. In the upcoming year of 2025, we have several important dates to remember, starting with June 22nd. Later in the year, we must also note December 1st, followed quickly by December 5th. And finally, we conclude our schedule on December 15th. Then, from the 5th to the 6th day of this month of February, there were still several agents from internal security present on the scene. They were executed at the Levallois-Perret site, which is located just outside of Paris, on the specific dates that I mentioned earlier. Additionally, executions took place at the Sun site, as well as in the city of Arras. Arras, notably, was the location of the very last execution, which occurred during the night spanning from February 5th to the 6th. During this final event, a commander from the internal security forces was shot. These executions were carried out as part of a broader operation, and each location played a significant role in the overall sequence of events. What did they tell people? First, the names are not disclosed, and the motive given is suicide. So these are people who were made to look like they committed suicide. These are agents who were made to look like they committed suicide. As for external security, I'll mention two cases, because there, at least, they could not hide the name. The name survived. It's Eric Denete with Delta, Echo, November, Echo, Charlie, Echo. Following these events, a Republican deputy and prominent political figure known as Olivier Marlex officially provided confirmation regarding the tragic fact that Nettie was forced to commit suicide on the date of June 12th. And furthermore, this same Olivier Marlex was himself tragically made to commit suicide later that year on the 7th of July. Don't ask me which French people I'm talking about. I say it, they know what I mean. And you yourself, when you think about it calmly, you understand why I say they were made to commit suicide. So, this is to demonstrate to you clearly exactly where they stand and just how extraordinarily capable they are of deliberately inflicting immense pain and suffering on their own compatriots, rather than choosing to sit down at the table and negotiating in good faith with the states of the Confederation. This is quite instructive for Nigerians who are still naive enough to think that general mobilization makes perfect sense. The shift from a state of peace to a state of war is being prepared. And that's what we're doing. And that's what we're encouraging Nigerians to do.
Mr. President, we see road infrastructure under construction, urban roads, the facades of public administrations being beautified, and the accessibility of food products. Even on the eve of the blessed month of Ramadan, despite a rainy season that did not fully meet our expectations, industrial units are springing up, especially in the private sector. These are significant achievements welcomed by Nigerians, and they allow us to anticipate good prospects. But beyond what the citizens' eye can see, what are the short and medium-term prospects for Niger? In terms of the economy and society, particularly regarding wealth creation, employment, training, and social protection?
I believe I have answered this question. If not completely, then at least in part. I have carefully and thoroughly outlined the current economic situation of our nation, as well as its future growth prospects and potential. Every action we take today and everything we strive to achieve in the future is fundamentally dedicated to the health and well-being of all our fellow citizens. As I said, every franc collected will be invested for the well-being of the Nigerian people. As I have previously mentioned, the overall future outlook, in addition to both the present circumstances and the past situation we have faced, is also looking remarkably positive and encouraging. And I believe that the achievements or the concerns some may have about the future, what I am saying, I say it with figures that are verifiable. Nigerians need to be reassured. The outlook is good at Niger. The authorities of Niger will work for the well-being of the Nigerian people in particular, and for the resilient peoples of the Confederation more broadly. This is a choice we have made, and Nigerians should not be surprised by any achievement we may accomplish. Despite the obvious difficulties, it is a matter of choice. It is a matter of discipline in managing our scarce resources. It's not about living the good life or a lavish lifestyle, as you mentioned in one of your questions. There is no lavish lifestyle, there is only a struggle for survival. But the struggle for survival does not rule out making achievements for the benefit of our fellow citizens. I believe we have provided enough proof through the efforts we have made, the sacrifices, especially in the health sector, with reductions in the hydrocarbon sector, also with reductions in the area, quite simply in trade with cement and all the other materials that are now produced locally in Niger. If you want to build, you can get a ton of cement for a maximum of 60,000. And you have rebar, you have annealed wire, you have the ton, you have square tubes, you have I-beams. I believe you have everything to build. And that's the goal, to create the conditions, a favorable environment for Niger's revival so that we too can, in our turn, be like some countries, but not all, of course, because we see others that are currently declining. That is not the goal. So the outlook is good, and what will be done for the well-being of Nigerians will be done, God willing.
Finally, sir, what message do you have for Nigerians and the citizens of the AES Confederation?
First of all, it is a message of gratitude for their sacrifice. Because if we have truly succeeded in our mission, it is thanks to the Almighty Allah, but it is also deeply thanks to the incredible resilience and strength of the brave peoples of the Sahel region, specifically the Nigerians, the Malians, and the courageous Burkinabe people. And I believe there have been enough illustrative events. We want to express our sincere thanks to every single one of our fellow compatriots for the incredible sacrifices they have made during these challenging times. We call upon the others who, despite the truly monumental and exhaustive efforts made, fail to fully comprehend or appreciate the sheer magnitude of the immense sacrifice that the state is making, to allow them to have at least the absolute basic minimum requirements. They need to reflect calmly in order to understand that many sacrifices are being made and that the state will do everything so that every Nigerian understands and is convinced that the choice it has supported is the right one. We pray to Allah that our martyrs who have gone before us may rest in His paradise, Firdaus, and that He grants them His mercy. We pray that Allah grants a swift recovery to all our martyrs, to all our wounded, both civilians and military personnel. Our deepest thoughts and heartfelt sympathies go out to the families of our brave martyrs and to all the families who have suffered as innocent victims of this cruel and mercenary imposition that has been forced upon us. We call on the people of the Confederation to remain resilient. We will never resort to demagoguery. We have already, as has been previously stated and emphasized, we will be completely sincere, and every single action and initiative we undertake will be deeply rooted in a foundation of genuine sincerity between us and all of our valued fellow citizens across the entire nation at all times. This is because we are fully aware that there is a supreme power far above us, one that is constantly watching over us, and it is this power who holds the authority over the day of judgment. We call on the people of Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso to arm themselves with even more courage because the struggle will be long and difficult. Those who are used to looting, those who are used to stealing, those who are used to massacring, to achieve their goals will never stop. It's in their blood, and it's always in their blood. It is entirely up to each and every one of us to make absolutely certain that our collective will for national sovereignty and independence remains the strongest and most resolute of all possible wills. May Almighty Allah protect our beloved country. May Allah protect the nation of Mali. May Allah protect Burkina Faso, and may Allah protect the Confederation. We express our sincere gratitude to all our partners, especially those sincere ones who do not disregard our interests and who support us in our struggle for liberation. We are aware of the criticisms from the other side when they say that we are leaving France only to throw ourselves into the arms of Russia. But as they say, name a single country that Russia has colonized. Russia was at the table during the Berlin Conference, but Russia did not take any colonies. And to those who reproach us for throwing ourselves into the arms of Russia, let them know that we have our own partner. Because those who refuse us on one side, these partners grant it to us. Russia, the Republic of Turkey, and China. And we are grateful to every single one of the other nations and individuals who support us and continue to support us. Because we made the formal request and they are now deeply and firmly convinced of the absolute legitimacy and justice of our demand. It stands in stark contrast to those who are actively blocking the essential equipment that we acquired with our own resources, our extremely limited and hard-earned financial resources. People who give clear orders so that even a simple Toyota can be sold to us. We have personally lived through and experienced every single bit of this, and yet we are the ones being unfairly criticized and condemned for turning to those who have chosen to stand firmly by our side, in order to safeguard and preserve the integrity of our territories, to safeguard and preserve our own dignity, and to rightfully assert our national sovereignty. Allah is the wisest of judges. May Allah be with us in everything we do, and may He spread His rahmah over our confederation, as well as in the countries that support us in this struggle for complete independence. Thank you to our compatriots. The struggle will be long. It is absolutely vital that we all take this mobilization effort with the utmost seriousness. When the time finally comes for us to put these things into action, let every single citizen of Niger be fully prepared and ready, each person according to their own unique skills and abilities, to diligently apply and follow the specific rules and responsibilities assigned to each of them. One last word also. In just 1 week's time, or perhaps even sooner than that, we will be entering the month. We wish you a very blessed and holy month of Ramadan. Extensive and careful arrangements have already been put into place, and the people of Niger have certainly noticed these efforts, ensuring that all those individuals who are in a position to support our fellow compatriots as they strive to fulfill this important religious devotion are fully available to help. We would like to wish a very peaceful and blessed Ramadan to our entire global community. Thank you very much.
Mr. President, thank you for granting us this important interview. And what we will remember perhaps alongside this military training is your deep knowledge of history and philosophy. Truly, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, families, for listening up to this stage once again. When I heard the French government deleting their own militaries to set an example, I was like, wow. He mentioned something before in that interview, but he didn't go into details like he did now. This is serious, because the previous interview he said they use lie detective on them, asking them questions because they think some of them are leaking information to the AES leaders, because they know a lot about their plans, just like we heard what our president has said. So they thought, how can they have this information to lie detective? And if you fail, no, they will delete you. And now they are deleting more. And you watch some movies, what they show us, some are true. You know, you delete yourself. That's what they will say. Oh my goodness. Anyway, families, I will end it here. Thank you so much. I hope you have taken one or two things from this video. what you have learned from almost 6 hours video. Now, if you listen or you hear some other people talking, you will know what they are talking about. Now you heard how they pay some influencers, media influencers, to be spreading the false news. It was intensified last year, and this year I don't have time, but I've seen few that pretend that they are preaching or they are backing the AES, but when something little happens, they are quick to bring it out and talk about it. All this is to tarnish the image of the AES, whether you know it or not, whether you are paid or not. We should be careful of what you share. That's why for me, I try to share the positive ones instead of, not that there's anything negative there, but there are some things I think it's not necessary to be sharing or to be putting fire in the petrol or something like that. So I keep quiet about it. So we have heard our president to the end, and congratulations to you and me for going through this 6 hours journey. Wow, I can't believe it. This morning I was like, wow, you did it, you did it, you did it. I pat myself, you did it, you did it. It's long ride, but I did it. And I hope you are proud of yourself for watching all this. And if you don't have time to watch it all, get time and watch it on your TV. Is back with information. Congratulations to our President, General Abdourahman Tiani. I'm just imagining Captain Ibrahim Traore, General Smigilta sitting, listening to all and be saying, wow, 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 wow. Yes, wow. The history, man. Mm. I hope they are writing them down. I hope because he has more. He has more. Thank God for their lives. They are changing things. They are changing the narrative of Africa. And you heard the development that is going on. Having said of development, I've lined out some videos for you that I didn't have time. But now that this is done, I will come back to the normal video to show you the developments that is going on. We are witnessing a lot history taking place in these three countries, Niger, Burkina Faso, and Mali. And we are so proud of them. Our leaders stand still, stand firm. That's my only advice for you and my positive vibe that I can send to you all the ministers. Stand still and don't look anywhere. Money is nothing. Don't be thinking of the bribe and everything and delete your leaders. You heard our president. Even if you get rid of them, things has changed. The table has turned. It won't be the same anymore. It will never be the same because the standard that they have set, I don't think anyone can fit in their boots. No, you can come and try. We want them to try. Anyone that you can try, continue. But I don't think this standard, with all the obstacles that they are facing, they are still standing. They are still progressing. They are still developing their economy. Congratulations to them and glory be to God for keeping them safe and continue to protect them. Anyone that has bad eye or bad heart should not see this. Our leaders should never come close to our leaders. Only good people with good heart should surround them because we need them to be there for longer. We need them to achieve their aim. Those who said they will fail, and when they fail, they will go back to ECOWAS. So what are they talking about? We want Africa to unite, and you want other countries to fail. So what is the meaning of ECOWAS? I thought ECOWAS is to unite West Africa and Africa as a whole. It will never happen. It won't happen. Even me sitting here talking to you, I never thought, because 10 years ago I forget about Africa politics, whatever. I don't even listen to the news or president. I mean, the last time I listened, there was one president. That's how much I know them. I can't even remember his name. His picture is in my mind now. He was at Rome. Very important meeting at Rome. This president was sleeping. Maybe one of you will remember. This president was, it's about 20 years ago or more. This president was sleeping and they put the camera on him. I was like, wow. That was it for me. I said, no, I'm a waste of time. What's the meaning of that? That was when I stopped listening until YouTube become YouTube now. Sometimes you go on it and find some things. They are not serious. They are not serious. For these three leaders, I can get up in the morning, get myself ready, and sit here and talk to you about them forever and ever until they put stop to it. Thank you. The video is long already. Let me leave you here for now. I'll be back with more news on Mali and Burkina Faso. God bless you all. My members, thank you so much. My returning families, my new members, my VIPs, my kids and queens. We are having more members. Thank you so much. Thank you for your contributions. Those of you super chatting me, yes, your money is going to the translation. Thank you so much. Wow, this video, if I tell you the money I spent on it, you think I'm crazy. You think I'm crazy. But I'm proud of myself. Yeah, I'm proud of myself. You have no idea. Thank God it's done. And I hope it will go viral. That's my prayer, that this video will go viral. Families, help me. Let this video go viral. Please help me. Help me, because I want many people to know the secret, expose them. Please help me. Credit to RTN, to the producers of this interview. Thank you so much. Our president Abdourahmane Tiani, thank you so much for your precious time. And the interviewer, thank you so much. I'm sorry I can't pronounce your name, but thank you for your time, everything. Those who were sitting there, you can tell some of them were tired. They were even sleeping. When our president still have energy to continue to even 10 hours, they were sleeping. I mean, I want to say something, but it would be disrespectful, so I will not say it. It's okay. If you are tired, it's okay. I hope when you wake up, you will listen to the rest. I'm so happy this morning. Thank you so much. Credit once again to RTN. I will leave you here because I'll be back with more news. See you soon, family. Bye bye for now. God bless you all.
Mountains high, rivers wide, colors dancing in the morning light. The heartbeat of the land is alive. Oh, step by step we rise, hands in the soil, eyes on the skies. From yesterday to tomorrow we move, with hope, with pride, with love.